Cool. Welcome to Mzansi MMA. We're just doing a quick post-fight analysis of Khabib versus Gaethje super fight, and yeah, we'll just cover the key points of
Yeah,
the contest.
yeah, man, cool. It was an absolutely great fight. I mean, my heart was literally, I couldn't handle it at some point, because I was really rooting for Khabib on this one. But at the same time, I totally knew that Justin Gaethje is an absolute beast. And there were times in that first round where it just really looked like Gaethje's prophecy might come through. He had the prophecy where he said, "If I kick this guy in his leg
Mm,
four times, that's all I need." And I think that first round he already landed two or three really solid ones.
yeah,
And I was like,
yeah,
this guy gets a few more of these in. And Khabib was clearly being
yeah,
wobbled. Like every time he kicked in the leg, Khabib clearly reacted. His whole posture changed every single time.
yeah.
And I was
Those
like,
are
no,
some savage kicks.
come through.
Those are some very
Haymakers,
savage kicks. Yeah, lovely
you felt
counter
that, right?
striking from Gaethje.
Yeah,
Khabib looking super strong with the boxing, super composed. And to me,
yeah,
I I felt that's where the fight was won and lost. Gaethje was nervous. He was feeling the pressure a lot more than Khabib.
yeah.
Khabib was composed, calm. Gaethje was sort of, he was moving between that crowd.
Frantic.
Yeah, frantic, very frantic. Not
Yeah.
like,
I wouldn't say nervous. So Gaethje doesn't strike me as nervous. Like fighting excites him so much. But frantic, like he was he
frantic.
was all over the place, wasn't
Yeah.
he?
Yeah, exactly. And I think Khabib's composure with the striking, uh, being able to set up nice 1-2s with the jab and the cross, very simple boxing techniques, I
Yeah.
felt, but effective. You know what I'm saying? So, and what
Yeah.
I found interesting is that he was actually the aggressor
Yeah.
in the striking.
Yeah, that's his
I,
style. He started to push forward.
mm,
Remember yesterday when we spoke, I told you about Khabib with a couple of really good
yeah,
knees that he
yeah,
enters the range with.
yeah,
Like he'll close the distance and jump in with a knee. So while you're defending the knee, you've also given up the distance.
yeah,
And once he's close to you, that's where he gets to hold on to you, press you against the cage, get a single leg, whatever it might be, and take you down. I felt like Justin Gaethje was throwing a couple of haymakers, the same haymakers that took Tony Ferguson out. He
yeah,
landed at least two or three on Khabib in that opening round, and I
yeah.
found that to be very worrying personally because I know Khabib might have a good chin, but there's only one of those placed in the right spot. I
Mm,
mean, that's the end of the night for you.
mm. I just felt that Khabib's mentality was like, remember GSP and no, not GSP, sorry, Connor and Alvarez. It was almost like that
Yeah,
same sort of like nothing was going to stop him from winning that fight. Even though Gaethje was
yeah,
looking good, he just almost had that same sort of calmness, like, nah, I got this. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
I,
yeah,
as I said in the last episode, I was rooting for Gaethje, but like the way Khabib handled his business, like it was just so classy, like
like a
beautiful
champion.
the way he ended that fight,
Yeah,
like the pace, the way he controlled the pace of the fight. Gaethje was sort of skittish, trying to mix it up, but Khabib just kept an even pace, didn't panic,
yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, secured.
His usual pace, right? That is Khabib's usual pace. Like if you watch any Khabib fight, like Khabib is literally rushing after opponents, literally running after them, getting into their face, trying to push the pressure. I think the only fight I saw him maybe take it a bit more chilled was the L.I. Quinter fight.
Okay,
And I felt in that fight, he probably just didn't know him enough about L. If you don't know much about your opponent, you can't just be rushing in. You know what I mean? But
exactly, yeah,
generally speaking, any other Khabib fight consists of Khabib hunting you down like you stole his money.
absolutely, yeah, and that's what he did,
And
eh?
it's almost like he's constantly asking for his money. Give me back my money. I don't have your money. Give me back my money. I don't have it. Let me search your pockets. Khabib's on the ground searching your pockets. I told you don't have it. Why are you choking me?
Good, grab that fucking money. How quick was that takedown? In the first round,
Dude,
lightning.
like, here's the crazy part. The entire build up to this fight, the biggest question was, can Khabib take Gaethje down? Can Khabib take Gaethje down? Can Khabib take Gaethje down? He literally took him down twice, and that was enough.
That was it, yeah. And
How
bro,
crazy is that?
when he was at that range, the submission was the most slick submission I've ever seen in my life, because he was in front, and then next thing he had his back, and then next thing he was in full mount, bro. So he took him down, and his back was turned, and then somehow in midair he turned him so that he was in mount, and then he landed in mount, and then it was tickets, bro. That was one of the biggest submissions I've ever seen in MMA.
Yeah, it's right up there with Mighty Mouse, where he did Ray Ball mid-air, armbar mid-air.
Yeah.
Literally what he did.
Yeah.
I think I saw GSP talk about the submission, and apparently Khabib went through 3 key submission points to get to the third one. So apparently he tried something. It has some funky name, didn't work. Then in split second, he switched into the second thing. Once again, very technical name, can't remember, didn't work. And then within a split second, he changed to the triangle, and that one worked, and he went for it. So which means if that one had failed, he'd have probably went for an armbar.
Yeah. What I loved about it was, and it's sad that Khabib is retiring now, because his last couple fights, he's been so slick with those submissions. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think he's taken he submitted Conor, he submitted Dustin, and he submitted Gaethje. And I think he saved the best. He saved the best till last. Actually, it's weird that like we've only seen that sort of that part of his game like in the last couple fights. You know.
Yeah, he's actually now better than he's ever been in his entire career. Like, in fact, like if he continued fighting, his next 5 fights would be like the best Khabib you've ever seen.
Yeah, I think he made the right decision to retire. I mean, other than Tony, there's no question marks about who's the best in that.
Yeah, no.
I mean,
I was actually having a Facebook conversation with somebody who was like kind of underrating Tony Ferguson, like so hectically. And I was like, no, guys, I feel like, remember, me and you've had this conversation for the past 3 or 4 years, where we were like, the only person that we can possibly see beating Khabib is Tony Ferguson.
Yeah, because I feel that Tony would have fought his way out of that. Like, the thing is, Tony's not afraid to be on his back. So when Tony got taken down, he would have been active. He would have been doing damage. He would have been doing things, you know. Look,
Tony's the kind of guy you take him down, and he'll probably be the guy trying to do a triangle on you.
Yes. So that would have been a fascinating battle. But look, it's just not meant to be. So
I mean, the UFC have tried it about 5 or 6 times.
That fight is cursed, bro. Like a pandemic came out of that fight, so I think it's better.
True that. They didn't try to make the first time the pandemic came and be like, yo, man, you just don't listen, do you? I've been breaking people's feet. I've been sending people to hospital, not making weight, and you're still trying to do this. Damn, right? That's crazy. No, but a beautiful submission. Like, personally, I almost felt like Khabib in that first, second round. I think Gaethje striking, you could see that if the fight were to continue, that striking was probably going to become a problem. Those leg kicks were probably going to become a problem. And Khabib just made a split-second decision to be like, I'm ending this fight here right now.
Yeah. That was a fight actually where I thought both camps realized that like it had to end with a decisive thing.
Yeah, I was watching a clip of Chael Sonnen. And Chael was complaining about the fact that Gaethje was circling and circling the cage, running, not running from Khabib, but like doing things that he doesn't ordinarily do.
Yeah.
Which means that Khabib's wrestling is such a big threat that it actually made Gaethje.
Exactly. Or unless you're Tony and you're like, okay, well, if he takes me down, then I'm in a good spot, you know?
Yeah. But have you noticed how with all these, there's like certain fighters who, when you fight them, you can't be yourself. Like John Jones is one of them. Yes. Everyone who fights John Jones just never do what they ordinarily do.
Yeah.
Like, they don't do what makes them normally win. Like, they fight Jones and then they just become some weird sheepish version of themselves.
Yeah. And that's what happened to Gaethje. That's the sign of a champ. So, I mean, I saw a few of the reactions from the fighters, obviously. Like, Usman was like, they're all like super like, oh, it's a pleasure to see you fight. And
Mad
blah,
respect.
blah, blah. Yeah. John Jones one was interesting. He was like, being a champ is earned, and so I think there's still a bit of like, in terms of like, who do you think is the greatest? I mean, I think Khabib has got the winningest record. There's John Jones.
Well, that John Jones tweet for me, like, because Khabib ended off by saying, when Monday comes, can the UFC please put him at the top of the pound for pound ratings? And John Jones actually tweeted to say, until I get the heavyweight strap, until I get that heavyweight strap, I'm giving it to you, buddy. Yeah. So I feel like if John Jones says Khabib is the pound for pound king, then, I mean, if John Jones says Khabib is the pound for pound king, then Khabib is the pound for pound king. Like, the only other person that has a say in this matter is probably Mighty Mouse, and GSP.
Yeah, exactly. But GSP took some
no one
losses.
Else gets to say.
GSP took 2 losses. That if you were to compare Khabib to John, even though John's defended his title more, you got to remember that John won the title like in his first fight, basically. And secondly, John's reputation is tarnished. You know what I'm saying? Unless he goes and does great things in heavyweight, it's like, with all the controversy around John, like,
it's a difficult one, isn't it? And I think GSP only lost once, isn't he? He lost to
Matt Hughes and Matt.
Oh yes.
Matt Serra.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. True that. And Khabib is 29-0. So how do you?
Yeah, dog.
How do you compare?
Cleaned up. Yeah. So yeah.
The only other thing that's very interesting is, and Chael Sonnen always refers to this, is that we are currently living in what is known as the champ era, where guys are grabbing 2 belts. So I think one thing that would have really solidified Khabib's legacy like heavily
is if he did
maybe so if he did like the 30th fight, like his father originally wanted him to, and he took on Kamaru Usman in a wrestling contest of the ages and beat Usman, had the title, and then retired, then I think GOAT status is guaranteed for like the next 20 years.
Yeah, but you know about this whole champ thing, like, I feel it's a bit like the craft beer craze. You know what I'm saying? It's a bit like Conor came in and made it cool, but now it's like he fucked around with it, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel that, like, in terms of fighting, it seems more of like a fad, because it's not like, unless John Jones does it with heavyweight now and he goes on and wins like another, because I guess the ideal of that is like, sometimes you fight in lightweight and you fight guys up and you defend, like Conor was saying, like, I'm going to put the one belt on one shoulder, the other belt on the other shoulder, and there's going to be an army of people, like, A, that's unrealistic, and B, like, so what? I mean, like, why not just rule one division, I mean, guys have done cool stuff. Like, I loved what GSP did, like, but I feel that, like, to come out of retirement for such a long way and then to just, dominate, a kind of tough guy, But I feel
also,
I feel it's a bit of a fad. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like Khabib, his career should be like studied and celebrated. You know what I'm saying? Like, because there's nothing worse than someone like that sticks around too long.
True that.
As a fan, you know what I'm saying?
Like, true that. Because Anderson Silva, isn't that like a prime example of someone who was a god that has now become a mere mortal?
Yeah.
Because anyone can beat Anderson now, bro.
Yeah.
You put any dude in there who's up and coming against Anderson, you win a decision.
Yeah, exactly.
Even Israel Adesanya was in there toying with Anderson like his food or something.
Yeah, I thought it's bro. Yeah.
That was cool. I'm also happy, just shortly, I don't want to get into it too much. Just happy that Robert Whittaker beat Jerry Kennedy.
Yeah.
Like I was saying, I like Whittaker. I like Whittaker. He's done great things. He lost to Easy, yes, and people may have wanted to forget about him, but he's showing you why he was the champion. He's showing you why he beat Romero twice. He's showing you why he beat Jack Ray Souza. He's showing you why he was the champion, man. You're not just a champion willy-nilly out here.
Absolutely, yeah. I felt he fought a great fight, nice and composed. If there's a rematch, do you think he'll beat Izzy?
Well, they interviewed him about it, and I think he said that he feels like he's got a couple of tricks in the box that he can try to pull out and get it done. Of course, it's going to take a thorough training camp. It's going to
Mm,
take a thorough strategy and approach. But
yeah.
why would he not be able to beat Izzy too? There's like, I know Israel Adesanya is amazing, but
Yeah. I just
but
never seen
who?
him challenged with a proper wrestler, someone that's wants to grab him and hold on to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel if Robert uses that strategy, he might look. Maybe it's because, like you're saying, he controls the range too well. But
Yeah.
I haven't felt like someone has employed the correct sort of wrestling strategy against him. You know?
Yeah. I think I'm looking forward to that actually.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think about who will be the guy who will enter with the wrestling. Some people seem to think that it will be Chris Weidman. But I'm gonna put a pin in that. I think Chris Weidman is probably not the younger spring chicken
Codes, bro.
killer
What the
instinct.
fuck has Chris
Killer
done for me lately, bro?
exactly. Like what has Chris done
Why is
lately?
that guy
Make
still
me feel like
around,
this
bro?
is the guy.
Last time,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
So I'm leaning towards like, but obviously I don't want to speak too soon because we don't know this guy properly, but it seems like
yeah,
Kamzat Chimaev seems to be the kind of wrestler, Khabib type of wrestler, who can take Easy down and will probably give him hell.
is that the next challenge for Izzy, this Chimaev
No,
guy?
no, it's not. But I'm saying if you just look ahead slightly,
Mm,
Chimaev, I think he's got a fight coming up against Leon Edwards. He's just won 2 or 3 fights in quick succession on Fight Island. He's a Khabib type fighter. He's got the wrestling. He's got amazing striking. He just knocked some dude out recently in like 10 seconds or something
nice.
crazy like that. So he seems to be, and he's a really good wrestler. So he seems like the kind of guy that can take his down. However, at this point, he has not yet deserved a title shot. He'd have to beat at least another 2 or 3 top
Mm,
10
tough guys,
contenders
yeah.
before you can be like, give him the shot. But
Mm,
he's one of those guys that you look at him and you're like, he can do it. Kind of like, remember when John Jones was having his run and then Johnny Walker came out and you're like, damn,
yes,
I think Johnny Walker can take John Jones. However, he needs a few fights to prove himself.
yes,
And unfortunately, he never
yeah.
did that. He never
Oh,
proved
there we go.
himself.
Yeah.
So you can't speak too far in advance.
Well, that's the great thing about this sport. Um, guys can come out and look like super unstoppable, but then they'll come up against someone that's like a Dan Henderson, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Someone that's
Yeah.
like a grizzled veteran, even like Yair Rodriguez when he fought Frankie Edgar.
Frankie Edgar. Yeah. And yeah, looked like he was amazing. And Frankie
Yeah,
was like, whoa,
exactly.
slow down, buddy.
Slow
Slow
your
down.
roll, baby.
This is real. Like, this is real, Bruce. It's the same thing Nate Diaz did to Conor McGregor. Like, Conor was also
Yeah,
rising. He was a rising
exactly.
star.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't
Thought he
know
could
to
do anything.
infinity and beyond.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Nate
Yeah.
was like, slow down, buddy. Let me bring you back. You know who else did that? Max Holloway when he beat Ortega.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's a
Ortega
great.
was also like, whoa, T30 Ortega. And Max was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
whoa, buddy, one, two,
yeah.
one, two. Let me just teach you
Yeah,
the game.
let me touch you up a bit.
Let me, let me touch you. Let me touch you up a little bit. Let me give you a different look. So, you can't speak too soon. You can't speak too soon.
Yeah. It's a humbling sport, this, bro. But yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
That's why we love it, ne?
And that's why we love Khabib, right? Because who's
Yeah.
humbled him?
No one, bro. Khabib has
In
humbled
a
everyone.
humbling sport, who's
Yeah, yeah.
humbled? Who's
And you
humbled
know
him?
why? Because he is a humble fighter. You know what I'm saying? Like
He
that's
doesn't need humbling.
yeah, he doesn't. Yeah. So yeah, it's a beautiful sport. This. Anyway, Doug, do you want to give any shout outs? Should we just shout out to the MMA community in general?
Yeah, look, I think we mentioned a couple of people. So tag them, get them involved, and yeah.